All right, good afternoon. Welcome to our official grand opening ribbon cutting ceremony. You can cheer, it's okay. This building here is officially 5 years in the making. I was looking in my previous photos and my library there and noticed that on January 1st, 2011, I took my first picture of this building. And God's really been gracious to us in all that effort. And it's just a joy to be here with you. Real quick, my name is Ty. I'm one of the pastors here at Grace Point, and just a joy to serve at Grace Point Church and serve the people of North Las Vegas, and within the Valley. I have a wife. We've been married almost 21 years now. We have 4. It's good. We have 4 children. Just grateful that the Lord has just been so gracious to us. I'll be your host for this ceremony. I just want to share a little bit of the story of the building to make sure everyone understands the significance of what's happening and what has happened with this building. If you've been around North Las Vegas long, you know that around 2006, 2007, 2008, we had a little bit of an economic trouble in this city. We had the housing market bubble. We had high foreclosures and all that. And during that time, Grace Point Church was just a few years old, and we really wanted to pursue a property, pursue permanent facilities. But when you are a non-denominational church, when you're a young church, and when you're in the zip code of 89084 and 89031, it's very, very difficult to borrow money from a bank, especially a lot of money to have property. And so at that point, our prayer as Grace Point Church was, Lord, if you want us to have something, if you want us to be in a permanent situation, then God, you're going to have to do something. So then one day I was out, just looking through windows at different buildings, trying to find some space for Grace Point, what would be good for us, just anything. And I was peering through a window, and a young man came out and said, hey, I'm a broker, a real estate guy. What are you looking for? I told him about our church, told him about the location we want to be in, and what all that looks like. He said, I'll be on the lookout for you. And he looked several different places, but again, money always seemed like the issue. So one day he comes to me and says, hey, I know this guy in California, and he is a spiritual man. And so that's a little bit vague. He asked me, would you like to meet with this man? And I said, absolutely. He said this man was looking to invest some money in Las Vegas. So I was like, absolutely. So before I knew it, I was sitting before this gentleman and another gentleman, sharing the vision and the mission and the heart of Grace Point Church, and told him all about the things that we're going to do here. And then I paused at the end. I remember this statement, Barry. I remember saying this. If you're looking to invest money to make a lot of money, we're not your place. But if you're looking to invest money here in Las Vegas and see God do a great work, then I believe we could be your place. That man I was talking to is Barry Glaser. Barry is the one that God has used to graciously take care of these buildings financially for us and so much more. Let me tell you a little bit about Barry. He served as vice president with Morgan Stanley, helping people with their investments, especially during the retirement years. He did his MBA and post-grad studies at USC and taught college classes in business for about 10 years. Barry currently serves on several nonprofit boards, including the Westside Food Bank, Child Share, Christ for the City International, and Fuller Seminary's Dean Council. He is an elder trustee and current corporate president at Bel Air Presbyterian Church on Mulholland Drive. And maybe some of you are familiar with that. That would be Ronald Reagan's church, I believe, way back in the day. He has 3 daughters and 3 grandsons. Barry and his wife have lived in Santa Monica for 30 years, and they are absolutely wonderful people. I would like to invite Barry to come on up, give him a warm Grace Point welcome.
This has been quite a trip. God surprises me every day. When I first started talking with Ty, I was just amazed at the dream here and how the church has grown and the vision that Ty and the other pastors, the whole church had for what God wanted to do. Then a little bit later on, after we got things going, anybody recognize #more? Well, that really rang a bell with me because I hadn't quite put a handle on it, but for years, that's what I've been asking God for. God's given me incredible blessings. When I felt unloved and asked him to bring love into my life, he brought not only my beautiful wife, but my daughters and an extended family and so many people. Everything I dreamed of having, God gave me more. And I've continued to be kind of greedy in that respect. When there are things that I want to do or I want to have or I feel I need, God gives me more. One of my prayers has been to be able to give something back to God. I've prayed that God would give me ways that I can have an impact to further his kingdom. I'm kind of educated in investing. That was one of the talents that God gave me. And he kind of led me to try to look to ways to integrate my talents with things that he would really like me to do. So when you can combine investments that are physically sound, they're logical, they make sense, with the same investment furthering God's kingdom, that's the kind of more that I was dreaming of and praying for. When I got together with Grace Point Church here, that was the ideal way to put together my talents and a bunch of neat people. And this church is one of the results. Another result is that he's given me way more blessings than I ever could have dreamed of, way above my dreams. Among other things, he's put together some world-class people. On the real estate side, we've got Roger Chamberlain and his wife, BJ, who have been really, very important in putting this whole thing together and helping it. Being at all the meetings between our wonderful architect, Jason, and, the pastors here at the church, Ty, and everybody involved. Dave Brown was another real estate bastion of wisdom and help. I also want to, God brought into my life in a much closer relationship 15 different investors that helped provide the money to build the church. It's just been one of the things that I had prayed for was, it would be neat if there were people that could come alongside me and be part of this wonderful adventure. It's such a blessing for me. Is there a way I could share it with other people? And investors came and raised a couple $1 million, way beyond anything I dreamed to make this happen. Bottom line, this whole project, this whole church is a terrific answer to prayer and an incredible blessing for me. And I thank all of you for letting me be a little part of it. It's been great.
Thank you, Barry. So as we sit in this beautiful building, I must remind you, as you see the pictures already, it has not always been this. During these buildings, we believe they were built in about 2008. They were empty, unoccupied for the most part. There were some owls that would fly around, some pigeons that were still here on the floor that did move. No walls, no people. It's almost like there was a sense that this building was left for dead. Bricks were falling off. There was some graffiti sprayed. Landscape was dying. Honestly, really it was becoming an eyesore, a disgrace, a non-beautiful thing here in this city. Useless and lifeless. Yet it doesn't stay that way. By God's grace, the people of Grace Point Church and beyond, people beyond that have brought life to these buildings. Life, to purpose. Usefulness of refuge out of ruins. There's beauty from ashes here. And it's not life and movement here. There's life and movement here to where there was once deadness. Deadness dwelled here. See, that's not just the story of this property. That's the story of us as well. God found us in ruins. God found us useless and purposeless, honestly. God found us in a state of death. beauty from ashes, though. Because of Jesus, now we have life. Because of Jesus, we're not individuals. We are a people called the church. And he's making something beautiful here. He makes us a new family, a new community. And a part of being a church, a part of being a new community, is God has placed us in this community of North Las Vegas to care for the welfare of this community, to love this community, to not turn our backs against this community, to not be against this community, but be a church that is for the community. And part of that, part of God's grace and all that, he's allowed us a wonderful partnership with the city of North Las Vegas. A friendship with the mayor has been wonderful. I want to introduce Mayor John Lee. Let me tell you a little bit about him before you applaud. He was elected to the Nevada Assembly in 1996. He served 2 terms there as an assemblyman. John was elected to the Nevada Senate in 2004, where he served on the committees of legislation, operations, and elections, energy and infrastructure, and transportation, and was the chairman of government affairs, where he was responsible for working with the city and county government officials throughout Nevada. In 2007, many of you may not know this about John, he was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And because of his determination and living his life, understanding all these accomplishments and all that, his decision was not to give up, but to keep trying and to fight. And so he won his battle of cancer after agonizing treatments. Mayor John Lee was elected to the North Las Vegas City Council in 2003. John and his wife, Marilyn, they've been married almost 40 years now, right? Almost 40 years now. They have 7 children and 18 grandchildren. Please help me welcome Mayor John Lee.
Well, I'm very excited to work for you. As your mayor, it's my responsibility to make sure that your tax dollars are spent efficiently, and we're doing that. But I would like to maybe explain to Mr. Glaser one thing. It's not an accident you were here, Mr. Glaser. We prayed you here. Our community had went down in this maelstrom. It was a tough time in North Las Vegas. And people such as you and me and Ty and a bunch of people said, we're not going to let this community die. We're going to make this thing work again. And so I want to thank you good people out there for adopting our community, North Las Vegas. We appreciate you, we love you, and we need you. But an interesting fact that you might not know is if you look in our community, then you go to the other communities around here, we are probably the most diverse yet most religious community in this valley. More people in North Las Vegas come home and pray that their car will work tomorrow, that they can go to work, that their husband won't be laid off. All the stresses of life are here, but we're the greatest community. Men and women come home from work, they bounce their little daughter on their knee, they take their son to baseball, they take their daughter to ballet. This is a great, great community that you're in, and we're very glad to share this community with you. I recognize that we have a challenge here already. If you're gonna grow as fast as you are now, Mr. Glaser, we're gonna have another meeting of the council. And I'm going to have to supply police officers to get you people in and out of the building here, on the traffic there. And we're looking for you to expand here. We love you and we appreciate you. North Las Vegas is a better community. I'm in the LDS faith, but my faith is you're either on the Lord's side or you're not. You're on the Lord's side here. We love you, and anything that North Las Vegas City Council can do to help you, rest assured, we're there, and we need your prayers also, but we're praying for your success too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. So here's what I want to do at this point. I want to just put some thanks out there. I wish I could thank everyone. If I start going down a lot of names, I'm going to miss somebody. So let me, first and foremost, we thank Jesus. It's by his work and by his grace that we are saved and that we are a people and that we live and move and breathe. And so we are just grateful for God and all that he has done to and for us here. We're thankful for Barry and Jane Glaser, just your generosity, your heart for the bigger picture and the kingdom work here in Las Vegas. Even when you're from a different city, it's just, we're just so blessed by you and just grateful for you as well. All the investors, hold all your applause to the end. all the investors that you have assembled for all this. Just thank you so much of going out and just being a proponent on our behalf and being, a rallier on our behalf. So thank you so much for that. Chamberlain, Roger, and BJ, just love you. I'm just so grateful to be in relationship with you, and just all the times of conversation and prayer and hospital and all that. Just love you, and just thank you for helping put all these things together and being the mediator between Barry and us. It's just been wonderful. BJ, thanks for letting us have him. He's a good guy. We like him. Jason Andoja. Where you at, Jason? Jason, he's our architect. There's a reason why this place looks good. It's that guy over there. He just made it, the design. The cross was his idea, and we're just so grateful because it's just really this big, beautiful centerpiece of here at Grace Point. So Jason, Elizabeth, thank you guys so much for all you're doing. All design builders, if you're with design builders or one of the subcontractors, you guys have just been amazing. You've gone above and beyond. We've complained about a lot of stuff, and you smiled and loved us through it. And did what we wanted. And so we just, 5 stars. I mean, you guys are just wonderful. Thank you so much. Phil Tucker, I don't know if Phil's here. He's Phil Tucker, the sign guy. He's the guy doing all of our signs. It's a God story how we met him, but just a really good man, and just really appreciate all of his hard work and all that. Excel Maintenance, this place looks good because you got in here and you scrubbed this place and just made it look amazing. And then you trained an army of volunteers. I'm sorry, we're in North Las Vegas. You trained an Air Force of volunteers to help us with that. So thank you for that as well. Advantix Media, they did the big mural out there on Friday. And we were like, hey, we desperately want this on the wall. And they're like, you got it. And they just went above and beyond. They were amazing. And then let me say this. This is the evidence of God's grace and the work of the people. And so Grace Point Church, this is the work of you. All the more of giving and serving and helping, the late nights, the prayers. I mean, all the community groups have been down this week praying. This is the work of the people by the grace of God. So thank you so much. And then Mayor, thank you so much for being here and just being one of our biggest supporters. And we love serving the city. We love being a part of the city and this partnership with you. And we're just grateful for your friendship. So thank you so much. Thank you to all who made this possible. Here's how we're going to end. I want to pray a simple prayer that comes straight from the Bible. It was our prayer when we started this whole thing, when it actually was going to happen. This began to be our prayer. It's in Ephesians chapter 3, 14 through 21. Then after that, I'm going to ask Mayor to come on back up. I'm going to ask Barry to come up, and I'm going to ask Nick Davey. He's our pastor of operations to come up, and they're going to cut the ribbons. So let me pray this prayer with us. Father, for this reason, we bow our knees before the Father, from whom every family in heaven and on earth is named, that according to the riches of his glory, he may grant you to be strengthened with power through his Spirit in our inner beings, so that Christ may dwell in our hearts through faith, that we be rooted and grounded in love, may have strength to comprehend with all the saints what is the breadth, the length, the height, and the depth, and to know the love of Christ that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all we could ask or think or even dream, according to the power at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen. Amen. Mayor, Barry, and Nick Davey, please come on up. And now we cut the ribbon, dedicating this house to the Lord. Thank you all so much for being here. This concludes our ribbon cutting ceremony. You guys are welcome to come back at our 6 p.m. gathering because that'll be our first ever 6 p.m. gathering. Peace be with you.